In 1931, the Cigar-Makers of Tampa went on strike for storytelling. The cigar factories in Tampa that were brought from Spain by way of Cuba had the old workshop ethic in them, that every cigar roller didn't see himself as an unskilled laborer. No, he came in a shirt and tie and a boater hat, and he knew that he was an artist because he could feel the veins inside every leaf of tobacco as he folded them up and primped them so that the smoker would end up having the complete sequence of experience. And those of you that have ever rolled a cigarette of any kind, and I think we know who you are, you know that if you roll the joint too tightly, it's just, it gives you a headache, and you go back into your room and you're all paranoid and you don't want to talk to anybody. But if it's too loose, there's just too much air in there. It's like, and you're coughing your lungs out, and no girl is going to want to talk to you about Nietzsche for the rest of the night. Okay? The work, the poetry of your fingertips, as you feel out the poem that is latent in the leaf. This is something that the cigar makers of Tampa knew, and this is why they continued the Spanish and the Cuban tradition of appointing a lector. The most educated of their number was allowed to sit up on a chair and read to them for the entire shift. He would read the newspaper. He would read Shakespeare. He would read Don Quixote. And there were connoisseurs of Tampa Cuban cigars that could tell exactly what literature was being read to the brain that connected to the fingertips that massaged the veins of the leaf. And this is why all of the old Cuban cigar brands are always named Romeo y Julieta or Cervantes. And in 1931, the New York venture capitalists who had bought controlling shares in all the Tampa cigar factories knew that they had to change the culture of tobacco. They had learned from the Great War that soldiers came back addicted if only they were given shredded tobacco made by machines in tiny little bullet cartridges. And they knew that if they wanted to expand their market by 10 times, they had to destroy the culture where you savor cigar smoke at the top of your palate. They had to train Americans to bring it down into their lungs. And so the venture capitalists told the Tampa cigar factories, we have to have machines. And the cigar factory manager said, no, we cannot have the machines because this would disrupt the lectores. And if we do not have the lectores, all of our workers will walk out. And the venture capitalist said, that is exactly what we're going to do. And the next day, notices went up in every single workshop in Tampa that the lectores' services were no longer required. And sure enough, all of the cigar makers on Tampa went out on a general citywide strike for the lector. And management lawyers went into federal court in the Middle District of Florida to say this, Your Honor, is an illegal strike. Because these people are shutting our business down so that one union leader can sit up there and get paid for doing nothing. And the cigar makers all said, no, Your Honor, no, he does not do nothing. He tells us what to do. It is his voice in our ears that connects to our brains, that goes through our fingertips. He is like the coxswain of our boat. Please, Your Honor, he does not do nothing. This is the thing that makes our cigars possible. And the management lawyers went home for the day, and they came back the next morning and they said, we withdraw the motion, Your Honor. Instead, we want an injunction against this strike because they are striking to compel us to choose their favorites as their supervisors. And if there is one doctrine in American labor law, it is that you are not allowed to strike to determine who shall supervise you. And the cigar maker said, no, Your Honor, he is not our boss, the lector. He does not tell us what to do. We do not work under his compulsion. He speaks the thought that is already there in our mind, just as our fingers, we tease out the poem that is already there in the leaf. Your Honor, he is not our boss. And they stayed out on strike for 6 months, until they all, one by one, went back to Cuba and to Spain, and the machines took over the cigar shops of Tampa. And you can track the spike in cancer deaths in America. You can determine the moment at which the corporate state took over the lungs and the minds of the American people. At the moment they destroyed the story. And the only question I'm asking is the same question that the cigar makers of Tampa asked in 1931. Do you want some shredded, mass-produced cancer stick? Or do you want Cervantes?